What is going on, my friends? My name's Corrupt, and it's time to talk about Bat Slap at Town Hall 11. We're going to break down everything that you need to know about the Bat Slap at Town Hall 11, from using it versus the single target Infernos, to how you guys can get value from getting rid of the Wizard Towers and Eagle Artillery, how to use the Wall Wrecker, and also how to create the funnel and use the bat spells. If you guys are interested in seeing more of my Town Hall 11 content, make sure that you're subscribed and ringing the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my educational yet entertaining Clash of Clans content. But without further ado, let's get started. So here in this first example, I wanted to give you guys a really good example of going up against single target Infernos versus a mostly max base like you see here. So this was definitely a good find for me here in Masters 3, but all we're going to be doing is kind of explaining to you guys what I did and kind of what you could fix from my attacks, because I did do something wrong with the bat spells, and I'll explain that a little bit later. So when we're doing this attack, we want to create a solid funnel. So what I did, and what I saw in the 30 seconds that I had, I used a pekka on this side and the king on this side. This is creating a small funnel, just enough so that I can send in my Wall Wrecker and the witches to go right in behind. This is definitely something that you need to consider. I actually like using the pekka. I think the pekka is definitely a better choice than something like an E-Drag or Baby Dragons, partly because you want to create a funnel just enough so that then the witches move into the core behind your Wall Wrecker. So that does mean that the pekka is going to be a much better and more useful tool than something like an E-Drag, where there is less chain and there's a little bit more or a little bit less buildings and there's an air defense in your way, kind of like you see here. It wouldn't really be smart to do that. So using a pekka was a little bit better. So what I was looking at was specifically the the Wizard Towers here and the Eagle Artillery. Outside of that, I wanted to then go ahead and do a bat wave, kind of like this, all the way around. There was like one Wizard Tower on the outside that I could drop a Ice Golem on, and that was it. So that is really all that you kind of want to do with this attack. And we're going to show you the army composition before we actually go into the attack, or into the live attacks, but you guys can see what we're doing. We dropped the pekka here in order to create this side of the funnel, use the king on this side, and then what we're doing with the Ice Golem here is dropping the Ice Golem first, provide support, then drop in the Queen, Grand Warden, the Wall Wrecker, and then the witches. So you can see from that order in here, in order to kind of push its way right through. We're using a rage to provide support for the witches as they push through. Sometimes I usually don't want to do this, but in other times it's definitely going to be really useful, especially if we can get a warden ability over them like you see here. And we've got the Wall Wrecker in. We've taken down the key defenses, and you'll see that what we have in here is 2 Ice Golems and a balloon. This is going to provide enough support for the core of the base, and you'll see me using that composition, the CC, in the live attacks. So as we continue to push through though, we can then go ahead and use the bat spells really whenever after we take down the defensive buildings. Now this is where I did a little bit of an oopsie. I used the bats in the base where they're going to be targeted by the Archer Tower, the Expo, and the air defense. Instead of that, what you could do is you can use the bats over here and just start overwhelming the defenses as you push through. So instead of doing what I did, which they're getting taken out immediately after spawning, it would have been better to let them spawn and then start accumulating up over time. So that is the only problem that I did, because I did lose a large portion of my bats to point defenses, and that is the reason to why this didn't really work the way I wanted it, and I had to freeze those single target Infernos, and you'll see that they kind of went all over the place. This was a little bit more of a bat bomb, and I would definitely not recommend this. It's just really not worth it, and your bats are going to get completely fried by point defenses if you don't have a rage. So that is the whole thing about this one. So I would do a bat wave. That was my one oopsie there, and I just lost all my bats for the back end, but I was able to still push through. I had a lot of witches remaining. I still had an Ice Golem tanking, still had an Ice Golem there, still had a ton of witches. It really just provided me with a lot of support, like you'll see here, just really overwhelming the rest of the defensive buildings. So that is kind of the entire example. I was really worried if this one was going to be a triple or not, and it was a triple, so definitely it was crunched down on time But either way, really successful nonetheless. Definitely still worth trying out. Make sure that you do that small little fix in order to kind of provide you with a little bit more. Don't do what I did, but let's go ahead and show you guys the army composition of this attack before we roll into the live attacks. Here is the army composition for the Bat Slap. We've got ourselves the healers, the pekka, which we're going to be using for funneling, and we've also got the 10 witches and 2 ice golems for this attack. In terms of spells, we've got 1 rage, 5 free spells, so we have more than enough to get through, and we're bringing about 6 bat spells, 2 in the clan castle, 4 in our main spell slot in order to provide us with some support. And of course, we've got the wall wrecker with the 2 ice golems and the balloon. Hopefully this is going to give you guys a good idea, so hopefully you guys saw that. But let's go ahead and move on into the live attacks that we have here for you guys. So we're going to hit this one first, and let's see if we have some success when we're doing this attack. So I'm going to start off with the pekka over here, and then we're going to be using the king on the other side. I'm going to use a wizard there to provide support for both of these units. What I'm basically just trying to do is create just a little bit of a funnel for the witches and for everything to move through. So I'm going to start off with the wall wrecker. Then I'm going to go with the queen and with the warden. And then what I'm going to do is then send in my witches, healers right behind. Here we go. We can send in an ice golem as well to kind of provide some support. And now we've got a clear funnel set. This is looking fairly good. We find a wall, or we find a tornado trap, that's fine. Just lures a bunch of these skeletons, but that's fine. I'm going to drop a rage to provide support for these skeletons as they continue to push through. And then I'm going to go ahead and wait just a little bit on using the ability. So we still have time to kind of still push through. I'm going to go ahead and use the ability right here as we continue to push into the core. This is looking pretty good right here. So we got a lot still left. So what I'm going to do at this point is drop my bats on the outside and let them accumulate over time. Because all we have to really worry about now is the core, but we have the ice golems in there that's going to also provide the support, and our ice or our bats are going to just overwhelm these defenses. Now I just need to focus on the free spells on these wizard towers. I'm going to use an ice golem there, so if it does lock on, it should lock on into the, nope, it doesn't lock on to the ice golem, but let's see, I'm going to focus on these bats here. So I'm going to freeze that up. Let's see if it's enough. Drop one more freeze right there. The only issue to this attack at this point is going to be the those expos there. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it. We still have the queen and her ability, but this is really going to come close, even with these skeletons, so we will see. Let's see if it's going to be enough. We still have an ice golem up, though, so we can easily still get rid of this single target inferno. We still have skeletons spawning, so let's see if it's going to be more than enough to get through this. We still have the queen and her ability. I think we might be able to do it if there is a way for us to. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the ability here. This is going to come really close to the wire. I've usually had these attacks here, but let's see if this is going to be enough for a 3-star. We still have the witches up, and we still have skeletons remaining. Let's see if it's going to be enough. We have the skeletons going in front of the queen, and let's see if it's going to be enough for the triple. Can we get it? It looks like we will. There you go. First triple done against an island-style base. Really close. So good loot too. But let's go ahead and take a look at another live attack using the Bat Slap. Alright guys, let's go ahead and see if we can hit this base design right here. So what I'm going to do, very similar to all my other ones, I'm going to start off with the pekka on one side, have a wizard right behind to provide some support here for him. And then we're going to do the same thing with the king over here using the wizard. Now, I'm not too sure how this is going to work, so I am a little concerned. I'm going to use a minion there to clear this up. I'm going to go ahead and drop in the ice golem, the wall wrecker, and then let's see. We might have a decent funnel here. I'm going to pop the king, use the queen and the warden. I want to see where the witches are going to go. Okay, it looks like they're going to stay on the inside, so that's good. Drop the healers in. Okay, if the witches can stay in the core, which it doesn't look like they are, I'm going to go ahead and pop the ability. Oh, it looks like some of them are going back in. That's good. Some are going to stay on the outside, but that's fine. Because as long as we still have the ice golems from the wall wrecker, we should be fine. We're still pushing our way through nice and easily. And I think what we can do now is go ahead and drop our bats. The ice golem there is tanking for them as they continue to push through. I still have the freeze spells. They took down that eagle artillery, so we are still completely fine. I'm gonna drop an ice golem here, and let's go ahead and freeze some of these buildings up because they are getting really hit hard. Let's see if this is going to be more than enough. I'm going to drop another freeze here. Looks like they are dying out fairly quickly to the point defenses. But the good news is that we still have the queen and her ability. Use a balloon here. Let's see what I need to freeze up. Let's see. We still have 2 freeze spells. I'm going to use a freeze here. And that will still provide some support. I'm going to do the same thing here with the archer towers as we continue to push through. This queen still has her ability. The healers. Healers, man. Can we still get it done? Looks like we lost all our healers, so unfortunately, we did lose a lot to the back end, and that is what caused us to probably get a fail here. Yeah, unfortunately, not enough. We have a couple witches still remaining, but the healers stayed on the ice golem. I think that's what caused the problem. You guys are going to see these fails, definitely. There's still always going to be failed attacks, no matter what. This isn't the exact strongest attack, remember. This is using the bats, so unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get through it, even with the wizard towers on the back end. So we are going to close it out. So it's only going to be about an 80%. Not exactly the way I wanted it. It was a little bit of an awkward base, so, oh well. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. This isn't the strongest attack, but this is an option for you guys to use against single target Infernos. Still, though, the Zap Mass Witch is still really strong. But let's take a look at one final example, hopefully to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing when I'm using the Bat Slap. Here we go, guys. We're going to be hitting this base design, and I know that there's some things upgrading on this one, but let's see if we can hit it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a queen walk. So we're going to start with the queen. We're going to use a pekka right here to kind of create the funnel. And then that way, our queen walks in the right direction. So I need to make sure that we're getting this queen to go in and also clear out some of these defensive buildings here. And once we kind of have a good spot, I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Can we drop the witches to go in? They will. And it looks like they're going to be moving in. Can the queen move in along with the witches here? That is going to be an answer. I hope that the queen does. We're going to pop the ability, and that's going to help the queen. That's going to help the witches as they continue to push through. This is looking fairly good right here. We've got some really good value. We've got the ice golems in the core. We're taking care of the core of the base. And we can go ahead and start our bats. I'm going to go ahead and start them right here. And that way they kind of start to overwhelm these defenses over on the left-hand side. So we can probably use an ice golem at some point to kind of provide a little bit of a tank. I'm going to freeze these point defenses up so that way we're kind of getting through this. There is a wizard tower, but it's upgrading, so we don't really need to worry too much. It's just the point defenses that we need to worry about. But we will still treat them like active wizard towers. But other than that, though, still, it's a fairly easy base. And of course, even though that this base was really easy, you guys saw that we used the queen walk specifically to kind of get through a nice part of it and keep the witches in. And that's kind of the reason to why I did use I used one test witch just to see where she was going. And then the rest was history. So fairly good, fairly easy on this one. Definitely, if the wizard towers were a little bit more active, we would have been able to still freeze them up and take them down. So this is another really good example, but it's just showing you guys using the queen walk. In this case here, this is a lot better than using this instead of just sending everything in, because it is going up against the compartmentalized bases. So that's exactly why we hit this one here. Now, if you are looking to use witches still against double singles, this is definitely a great one. But if you're looking for a little bit more of a consistent attack that can hit from absolutely anywhere, drag bat is going to be your go-to. I have a couple videos on that. Make sure you guys check them out. But other than that, though, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure that you're leaving a like on the video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my educational yet entertaining Clash of Clans content. Don't forget to go ahead and follow me on the social, on Twitch, and also join my community Discord server. The links to those are in the description below. Don't forget to use code CorruptYT to save 10% off your purchase. And with that, in the Clash Champ shop, I should be saying that. And other than that, though, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.